Hello children, good morning all once again, and welcome to the second week of this online section. I hope you're all doing well. Okay, so let's get into, and it's very important to get all the syllabus completed, the course completed. So uh, without wasting much time, let's get into all those things, and I would just give you a hint of what we're gonna see today and what all things we have seen the previous lectures. Okay, so we have seen about the chapter number 1, that is global warming. We just saw about the highlights regarding this chapter. Okay, what were those? Greenhouse effect. Okay, what is the second one? Global warming and its effects also we have seen. What is urbanization? That was the third point, and how this urbanization took place. What was the reason behind that? Okay, and today we're going to see the fourth point, that is reuse, recycle, okay, and reduce, or reduce, recycle, and reuse. That is the fourth point that we're going to see about the chapter. Okay, so without wasting much time, as I would say once again, just get into the chapter. Okay, and let's get explained, let's get into the studies little more serious way. Okay, so it's very important to get all the things completed and just get everything into your mind, because that is very important. Unless and until we don't understand a certain concept, this would not be the part that will be thorough with the entire chapter. Okay, so it is very important that we should complete each and every portion in a way that there would not remain any topic that would be out of our mind. Okay, so ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि एक भी पॉइंट छूटे, या फिर ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कोई भी पॉइंट समझ ना आए, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. It is to get complete into a chapter. Okay, to get one chapter completed, it is very important that to understand each and every sub points relating to the chapter. So that is what means. एक पॉइंट भी ऐसा नहीं रहना चाहिए कि जैसे हमें एक पॉइंट समझ में नहीं आया, so that means that that chapter is not complete. So it is very important that it is very important and mandatory that every point should be understood by each and every student, or even me. First of all, I want to get all these things cleared. Okay, then after I'm moving forward for your for the explanation purpose. So it is very important. Okay, so please, while I explain, I would request that every child should have, or every student should have this textbook within their hands. Okay, so please do listen carefully whatever I teach you. Okay, just get into it, try to understand, grasp everything as much as possible. And if you don't understand on one glance or one hearing, just after the video is over, you can have this video anytime in the YouTube. Okay, so you can just be a part, or you just keep on a repeating mode and just listen it thoroughly. Just keep on listening. If you don't understand a concept, okay, just keep on listening it twice, thrice, how much you want. Means, okay, so it is very beneficial for this for a student to catch up anything. So I think this idea is very perfect. So please get into the chapter. While I explain, just try to listen it properly, and please do try to learn and understand, try to grasp all those things. Okay, so so these were the points, as I've said, the 3 points that we have been learning from the previous classes. That is greenhouse effect. Okay, what is greenhouse effects, and we have seen about global warming and its effects. What are the effects of global warming? And we have seen urbanization. What is urbanization? What is the purpose of that? Why do people migrate from one place to another? So all those things we have seen. Now let's get into the fourth point, that is reduce, recycle, and reuse. So what is that? So this reduce, recycle, and reuse, in order to get into the chapter, first of all, let me get into the outline of that point. So what is that? Reduce, recycle, and reuse. Reduce means, see, carbon dioxide, this greenhouse gases is been really equally related to the atmosphere. Okay, so when we get this global warming is really harmful for the entire earth. Okay, and we can prevent these gases, or we can prevent this global warming by practicing what these fourth point. What are we looking today? That is reduce, recycle and reuse. So reduce in the sense means what is the, reducing of this? It means the reducing of gases, the greenhouse gases. What are the greenhouse gases? As you've seen in the previous lectures, what are those? Greenhouse gases means those gases that is being linked up with the atmosphere, that gets the entire earth surface and gives and makes the entire earth surface warmth, and just that then it results towards the global warming. So what are those gases? Few of the gases, as I would just name it: carbon dioxide, we have seen, methane gas, nitrous oxide, okay, so all ozone, okay, so all are these are all the gases that we have looked in the previous lectures. So reduce in the sense means, okay, it involves reducing the production of greenhouse gases. Means reducing such gases will really automatically reduce the greenhouse effect, or the greenhouse gases will be reduced automatically. Okay, so this can be done by what? By reducing such gases. And also we can say certain, as we have seen, petrol, coal, and means these are all what? These are all means we have seen about the fossil fuels. Okay, the reducing the fossil fuels, that means such are petrol, coal and everything. Means all these, when we reduce this kind of gases or their usage of these things, then we can get this greenhouse effect being on a lower pace. Means we can remove this effect from the entire earth. Okay, so then what is the second point? It's recycle. Means it is necessary that we can recycle these things that we have. Okay, and it is necessary to recycle those things instead of to produce a new material. Okay, with the raw materials, it is easier that we may recycle all those things that we have used in the past. Okay, for example, some plastic items, means you might have seen while you buy a bottle of water, drinking water, Aquafina or whatever, okay, a Bisleri, or okay, so in that it might be written that or you can see, you might have seen that it is to be reused or recycled, or you should crush this bottle and throw. Don't just throw it away or just burn it. Don't burn it. Okay, just crush it and throw, because it is recyclable. So these things could be recyclable. Okay, so we should use all the old things for a part of creating a new product. Okay, so and what ultimately happens when we use this use a new product and new raw material for the production of new thing, of a new product, what happens is that ultimately the effect of greenhouse gases, means the usage of new material, new raw material, and again energies. First point is that energy is being wasted, and with these energies gases also produce, and such when these gases increase in the atmosphere, we can say that global warming also increases in the same level. So it is necessary that the things should be recyclable instead of using, or instead of buying new raw material for a new production. Okay, so that was recycle. And reuse, what we can say about reuse? It means to reuse the, again, it as it says, recycle and reuse has almost a same kind of meaning, but recycle means recycling all those things that have been used and again we have been using this, and reuse means old use, and all products can be reuse means to reuse all those things instead of what, throwing it away on the as a part of garbage. Okay, see what ultimately happens when the garbage increases in the entire earth surface. What happens ultimately? Again we can say the gases are just start of increasing, and a lot of energy is wasted behind that, and again we can say the global warming has been increased. So yes, students, as I have said, we're going to see about this reduce, recycle and reuse. So what is that? The global warming is very harmful for the entire environment, and we can prevent or control global warming by practicing these 3 R's. So what are those 3 R's? That is reduce, recycle and reuse. So reduce, does it mean? As I have said, it involves reducing production of greenhouse gases. Yes, the greenhouse gases have been reduced, okay, the production of greenhouse gases has been reduced, okay, and this can be done by reducing what? Use of fossil fuels. By reducing the use of this fossil fuels, that means like petrol and coal. When the usage of these kind of fuels into a kind of a measure, means we all should have a limit of using these things, then what happens? Ultimately the production of greenhouse gas has been reduced. And we should encourage carpooling. Carpooling means when 2 or more people travel in just one vehicle, instead of traveling in 2-3 vehicles and making the entire environment polluted, so it is better to travel in one vehicle. So that is what? Carpooling. So encouraging carpooling and use of public transport and moderate use of air conditioning. So the use of public transport also should be encouraged, and also the moderate use of air conditioning. Instead of making the air conditioners, just keeping the ACs on in your homes and offices, that means unwanted use of these kind of home appliances or the electrical appliances is really not appreciable for this for this situation. So or else what it does, it just harms the entire environment and gives rise to what? Global warming. And thus we can say that global warming is been increased. So we should have moderate use, means kind of when we are in need, then only you should put on the air conditioners, and when not in need, just switch off, okay. So that is what means unwanted use should not be appreciated. And we should use CFLs, compact fluorescent lamps. You should underline what is the full form of CFL. So compact fluorescent lamps rather than regular bulbs, and switch off the electrical appliances when not needed to save energy. What is that? Ultimately what it does, when we just switch off those things when they are not in need, it makes what? It saves the energy. So that is what we should reduce use of unwanted, means you should not use when it's not needed, it's not needed, and you should reduce and encourage the carpooling, the use of public transport, and as well as the moderate use of air conditioners. So that is what reduce means. Now what is recycle? It means to recycle the old and used products to generate what? New products. So instead of buying raw materials for a new production, you should recycle the old products and parts, as I have already told you before. Before getting into this point, I just gave a brief example. So what was that? As I have said already, the recycling of old and used products should be encouraged for creating a new product. So recycling requires what? Less energy than producing new products. Why is it said so that we should use or recycle the old products? Why is it said so? Because it requires less energy than producing new products from raw materials. So it makes the use of energy less energy has been produced, and thus recycling reduces the use of fossil fuels. Ultimately what is that? It reduces what? Reduces the use of fossil fuels and emissions of greenhouse gases, and thus we can say the greenhouse gas has been it's not been encouraged into the, or it cannot be released into the atmosphere. So we must use jute or cloth bags for shopping instead of plastic bags. See, use of plastic bags should not be encouraged. You should use rather than plastic bags, you should use the jute or cloth bags. And we should recycle products like paper, plastic, newspaper, glass and aluminum cans. So we should recycle such kind of things. So paper, the plastics, newspaper, glass. The newspaper should not be thrown away. It should be used. We can use it in one way or the other. Okay. And glass and aluminum can, as we can see, the Coke and everything, the Coca-Cola, as we might get in cans also, right? You might have seen. So all those cans can also be recycled. Okay. And what is that? The third, that is reuse. It means to reuse the old and used products to reduce the amount of garbage. Yeah. Now what does it mean? Yeah, recycle and reuse, it might have a connection regarding the meaning of those points, but the reuse says it in another way. What is that? It means to reuse the old and used products. Okay, up to that is fine. Then what does it say? To reduce the amount of garbage. Yes, the reuse means the garbage will not be increased in our entire space. Okay, so it also results in fewer purchase of new products. So ultimately we no need to purchase new products, okay, and objects which require a lot of energy to be manufactured. Instead of just wasting those energy in buying new products and creating new products by the usage of raw materials, it is better to reuse the old and used products. Okay, so by reusing, we not only save the earth from the burden of unnecessary garbage. So it doesn't mean that by reusing, it not only saves the entire earth, but also the burden of unnecessary garbage is also, okay, yeah, so unnecessary garbage is also, we can say, we can see that it not only saves the energy or the earth, but the garbage is also reduced. Okay, so and also but saves energy, which in turn and this results to what? Which in turn reduces what? Global warming. So that is what we have seen. Ultimately we can say the global warming has been reduced. So do not throw away the things that can be reused. So that is what we're gonna take into note. What is that? Means we should not throw away that all those things that can be reused. Means, for example, it's given over here. See, donate your old clothes. Yeah, when you feel like these clothes have been just old, or it's just not in size within you, it doesn't fit you, means don't just throw it away. You can give to the poor people, those who don't have clothes. Or means, this is what the example of reuse means. It can be reused in such a way. You can give it to poor people, those who don't have, those who don't find clothes within them. Okay, just give it to them. And books, those who are in need, those, instead of making them buy the new books and again just to reuse, instead of that, you can give your book, okay, that you have used. You can just make it, just pass it on. Okay, so what is the third thing? Or toys. So toys, rather than throwing them away. So these things have been really said. So so once again, as I would say, what is reduce? The reducing such kind of reducing the production of greenhouse gases. It can be done by reducing the use of what? The fossil fuels and everything should be reduced. The usage of these things should be reduced. And what is recycled? So recycling of old and new products. All these things have been seen. And what is the reuse? Reuse means, reuse what is it makes ultimately? It decreases the amount of garbage that is thrown away into the Earth's atmosphere. Ultimately, or when you don't follow up these things for the reuse, then ultimately what happens? It gives rise to what? Greenhouse effect. So these 3 points tend to say that when we don't use these 3 R's in a proper manner without understanding, it ultimately results into what? It ultimately results into global warming. So these things have to be kept in mind. So these 3 R's should be practiced within our daily life. So this is what today's topic is all about. Okay. So yeah, as we have seen, okay, so these 3 R's should be practiced in our day-to-day life so that we can get to know more about this, and so that we may just prevent the rise of global warming into the Earth's atmosphere, and that we could make the entire Earth a place as if we want to feel the Earth as if a heaven. So it's us that we should find a great, we should take into account such things that we have studied today and the previous classes. So we should really be aware of these things, that you should practice the R's as we have seen today: reduce, recycle and reuse. So all these things should be practiced in order that we may get the knowledge of making this entire Earth a better place. So it is our responsibility, being a human being, being a social animal in this entire Earth. Okay, so man is a social animal, as we know, as we've already studied, okay, or we have been studying this. So man is a social animal. So it becomes our responsibility to make the entire Earth a better place. So please do keep on practicing this. And as we have seen today's topic, just go on through this topic again, read it twice and thrice, as I have been always saying this. Always keep on reading it, and if you have any doubt, just keep it your comments coming when you feel like, if you do not understand such things, just keep on commenting that so that I may get to know. And just as I've been saying, and as we have completed the entire chapter today, so chapter 1 is completed from here. Okay, the explanation part is completed, and tomorrow we'll move on for the we're going to see about the let us try, all the questions that were given after each topic. So I'll just give all those answers regarding those questions and just note it down. Okay, or you can watch the video when I put tomorrow. I'll be giving those answers or make you underline. Okay, that I'll give by my own. Okay, and all those answers and the fill-ups or true or false, whatever maybe, and then after we'll move on for the worksheet. I'll keep one worksheet section also for this chapter 1, because after completing all these things only, then only we'll move forward for the chapter number 2. Okay, so within this 2-3 days we'll be completing the entire chapter including worksheets. Okay, so let's move on. And yeah, so this was today's topic. So I would say entire chapter has been completed. I mean the explanation part is completed. So tomorrow I'll be giving the answers of all those questions. Okay, and just keep on learning. Just again I would say, just read from the entire chapter from the beginning. I mean from what? From greenhouse effect to the reduce, recycle and reuse. Just keep reading the entire textbooks and make it thorough by yourself. Okay, and if you have any doubt, you can watch those videos as I have put on. If you find any difficulty in understanding if any of the points that I have explained prior, you can watch those videos again and again and just keep it learned. Okay, so thank you for today, and tomorrow we'll continue. So thank you. Okay, bye.